Hello, Sarwat. This is the first extract. Education. Knowledge and education light up our lives and help us think and understand. Without this light, we have the darkness of ignorance, making it hard for us to develop. The light helps us appreciate the difference between right and wrong. It helps us to link our past to our present and prepare us for our future. It's not just the knowledge, book knowledge that matters. Our experiences allow us to grow and they mold us. Good education should help reveal new understanding, increase the thinking that helps children grow. This is a big role for the teacher. It makes their working lives worthwhile. Without it, they remain unfulfilled. They feel worthless. It's a complex situation. It has lasted over 100 years in our culture, in one form or another. Extract 2. Bekaar, worthless. This is a story of the times of Ismath Chughtai. Home and life situations were often sadder than they are today. It's a long and powerful story. I've reduced it here for you. There are three main characters: Hajra Bibi, wife to her husband Bakr, and daughter in law to Amiji. Is the story of the effort Hajra made to meet the needs of her marriage and home, and the sad results after all her sacrifices. She came from a family with some money and had passed her matriculation. Bahar Mia was a teacher and had a small income of 80 rupees a month. Prices were high. He marked examination papers for extra money. In spite of this, each month they borrowed money and lived from day to day. Extract 3. 1.5 years passed. Bakr Mia and Hajra Bibi experienced hardship without an income and with the pressure of loan sharks. Bakr was as he was. He had passed exams, but his attitude was weak. So it fell to Hajra to find money again. Having sold her jehaz, her precious jewelry, she knocked on neighbors' doors to borrow money. Many banks shut doors in her face, humiliation upon humiliation. But she was a strong young woman, and she thought that thought something that few women of her times dared to think. I have education. I can offer my services to the local school. I can be a teacher. Then all hell broke loose. A strong opposition arose. Bahir Mia's friends cited hundreds of stories of immoral teachers and how terrible it would be. He was reluctant to give consent, but as usual, he was basically indifferent, did not know whether he agreed or disagreed with his friends. However, when he spoke to his wife, he loudly declared to her, "Do whatever you like after my death." Hajra's voice rose to save the household. "How can we survive? Not a speck of gold has remained. Everything has been sold." "So what?" Bakr Mia disconnected from reality, told her, "When I get money, I'll get you back everything." This was laughable, and a lot of nasty words were said.
Part 4. Bahar Mia, disconnected from reality, told her, "When I get money, I'll get you back everything." This was laughable, and things got nasty, and hot words were exchanged. "Listen, take a divorce and live life as you like." "No, I'm not going to listen to the trash of the world throws at me." Then Amiji, who had no imagination and understood nothing outside her own direct experience, simply had to express herself. She had a pension of rupees 11 per month and had her supply of pan and spices and tobacco and opium, and there was always food and money to spare. I can live on rupees 11 and she cannot manage on hundreds. Amiji railed and ranted. But the day came when, for a moment, Bahar Mia looked at life squarely. He agreed to her employment on the condition that the moment he gets a job, she would quit. Hajra B readily agreed to this. She started teaching the first standard at rupees 52 a month. This was so new to her. No actual experience, no training, just her stout heart. All day she moved from class to class and found it hard to keep order in these days. Keeping peace in the class meant hitting and slapping and raising her voice above all the chirping of the little ones. In addition, without understanding the clear cut, the values and role of a teacher, she tried to please the headmistress by selling her special talent for extra money. It helped her feed everyone at home just as she wanted to. She hand embroidered many a fine saris for the lady for hours that her eyes hurt and her vision blurred. The skill and art that she was proud of made her a slave for extra income. In the outer world of Bakar Mia, his friends were a thorn in his side, and sometimes they pricked him with the 100 arrows reaching his heart and soul. He tried to keep himself away from the taunts of his friends, and when such talk became unbearable, he angrily returned home. Home. Then at home, Ammiji was always ready to throw fire at his fury. Today, the grand lady forgot Nasim's breakfast, left home in a hurry. What's happening here? After my death, what will the children's future be? Not for a fraction of an extra second does she want to stay at home. Bahar's blood boiled. But at school, her life was different. She was left to teach as best as she could, and as you saw, the headmistress used her. After school hours, she called upon Hajra for different tasks to check the library file or to cross check students' mark sheet, and so it went. Hajra was tired and overworked, and her wandering mind was filled with duties that waited for her at home. Things to be done that she had not done. I should have thrown the curry away. It will be bad if it gets given to the little one. Bahar Mia used to have a lot of clothes, but they are now all faded. I'll buy him 2 shirts next month. How old is he? Only 30 years, and how old he looks? He alone amongst his friends looks old. Out of these private thoughts, the headmistress's loud voice would startle her. What have you done? You have just gone and mixed the marks of first and third standard children. Oh, I'll have to look into this. Tired and miserable with all her confidences, drained, Hajra returned home. At home too was her husband, irritated and crushed and feeling inferior by his mother's hurtful taunts. He saw Hajra enter the house low and exhausted. Nonetheless, he raised himself into a fever pitch, agitated and demanding, his blood boiling. This voice rose alarmingly as he asked, "Where are you coming from?" "From hell," she answered, feeling completely devastated. The mother in law was there to add fuel to the fire, to turn it into a blaze. She again questioned his masculinity. "Hey man, who are you?" "She is an earning lady. She gives food to our stomachs. It's all her wish. Anytime she can enter and anytime she can leave. Bahar shouted again, I'm asking, where were you? She wanted to reply in the same tone, but the look of madness in his eyes terrified her. When to earn, otherwise, where would I go? She said. He answered, is it to earn till this hour? Is that all she was doing? But Hajra checked herself and instead gave the answer that she wanted to give her mother in law. It was full of poison. If you say, if you say so, I'll not go to work from tomorrow. If you have so much concern for honor of the family, why don't you yourself earn? You enjoy my earning and still challenge and insult me. Does it make you feel good? Her outburst changed something between them. In her heart, Hajra's own answer grated at her conscience. She knew how long it had been that he ignored his taste buds and never asked for any dish he craved for. She used to ask hundreds of times, is salt okay? He would reply, yes, yes, okay, okay, and again sank into himself and drowned in his thoughts and often took to his bed. Slowly, unrest in the family had become routine. She asked, please come out while and I'll make your bed. And he'd thunder back so loudly, no, no, let it be like that. She switched back to her bed and like a half dead body and fell asleep. It was a long time since they had spoken with love to each other. Her efforts remained unrecognized, unacknowledged, and they were drifting away from each other day by day. She thought that she would be praised for her sincerity, and the nasty jabs from her mother in law would soon reduce. What was her fault? What mistake had she made? She'd saved her little family from starvation. If she had let them starve and be ill, would she be labeled a great woman? An earning man can be a pharaoh, but an earning woman is a dangerous villain and a criminal outcast. What sort of an unfair world was hers? So unfair. She was lonely and felt worthless in spite of her efforts. How long had been since they used to wait for Sundays to enjoy each other's company. Now that every day had become a Sunday, she was gasping for breath. She felt a widow in presence of her husband. Then, unexpectedly, she felt as if God has answered her prayers. She felt a shadow over her as she slept. She returned to sleep and awoke again. She was holding him by his sleeve, and they were holding on to each other and wept. All the poverty and the deep disturbance between was washed away with their tears. Her imagination went back to Bahar to the days of their marriage. She thought, tomorrow I'll make another start. I'll lay myself beneath his feet. She was seeing in the dream that Bahar got a job, and as he was leaving the house, she offered betel leaf in his mouth. He pierced lightly his tooth in her finger. She jumped at this. It was as if her whole world was rocking. Someone was shaking her and telling her to get up, get up, get up, see what has happened. She saw Ammaji was beating her forehead and shouting, oh, this demon has eaten away my son.